Did Damon Hill imply that Lewis Hamilton is an idiot? The outcast treatment has apparently begun for the 7-time world champion at Mercedes in order to keep future developments hush-hush. But Hill thinks that this isn't needed because Hamilton only has a surface-level knowledge when it comes to the machines they drive. Does he have a point? Let's find out right now. 1996 F1 world champion Damon Hill thinks the process of keeping Lewis Hamilton out of technical discussions for next year is underway. Hamilton is nearing the end of his time with Mercedes, as the 7-time world champion is set to take on a new challenge with Ferrari in 2025, marking the end of one of the most successful driver-team partnerships in F1 history. Speaking on the F1 Nation podcast before the Dutch Grand Prix and the start of the second half of the 2024 season, Hill mentioned that it's quite likely Mercedes has begun the process of sidelining Lewis Hamilton from meetings and discussions about the development of next year's W16. This is untreaded ground for Hamilton, especially since he's been so deeply involved with the team since he joined in late 2012. But Hill expressed confidence that Hamilton won't be made to feel uncomfortable or treated unfairly during his final months with Mercedes, even as he faces these changes in his last 10 races. I think it's got to, hasn't it? I mean, he's got to be excluded from conversations to do with whatever's coming for next year. They don't want to show many insights that he might take to Ferrari particularly. So it may be he's deprived of a little bit more information than he's liked in the past. But they are an honourable team, Mercedes, and I think Toto Wolff is an honourable person. I think that he'll always be treated fairly within a team, but there's only so much you can give away, isn't there, when you've got a guy leaving? Gardening leave is normally applied to technical and leadership staff, so that their knowledge can become outdated after time away from a team. But do drivers need it too? Hill laughed as he said that Lewis Hamilton doesn't know enough about cars for Ferrari to implement changes that harm Mercedes. It's not like a technical person who, when they leave a team, have to go on gardening leave, and they can't join a team until the following year or something like that, he said. The drivers can go from day one to the next team, the moment their contract has expired. The trouble is, drivers are not necessarily privy to all of the technical things that happen, and in any case, they probably wouldn't understand because it's highly technical. And you only have to speak to some of the engineers in the sport to know that there is a need to understand very complex technical things, which very few drivers can do. You would know what they're playing with, yeah, and you'd know what sort of directions. You'd know what the team was up to. Clearly, Lewis will be able to go to Ferrari and say, listen, when we changed our front wing and our front wing did this, and that was a special tweak with the front wing that we learned and unlocked our performance. He'll be able to tell them that. But then, of course, they'll probably already know that. Everyone watches the other teams like hawks, and nothing really is missed in what is brought forward. You can't see what's under the cover. You can't see what's going on with the power unit, and let's be honest, that is really deep science. You're probably never going to know what's going on under the hood. There's only so much you can take as a driver. Being treated like an outcast might save Sir Lewis from a few headaches, because Mercedes' trackside engineering director, Andrew Shovlin, has admitted that the team might need multiple upgrade packages to fix the W15's tyre overheating issues. If so, this might push the resolution timeline to the end of Lewis Hamilton's stint with the team. The 2024 season has been quite a ride for Mercedes. The Brackley-based squad kicked off the year with the 4th fastest car, finding themselves closer to Aston Martin than to the top 3 contenders. Hamilton and his teammate George Russell were clearly frustrated week after week. However, after the Monaco Grand Prix, something changed, and Mercedes started to tap into the W15's potential. In the 6 races leading up to the summer break, Hamilton and Russell together secured 3 Grand Prix wins, with 2 of those coming from sheer pace. Mercedes is now a regular contender for wins each week, though they're still dealing with some issues. Talking about the team's current struggles, Shovlin said, I think at tracks like Silverstone we had a very stable rear end. In Austria and Budapest we lacked stability. That's all down to the fact that we seem to be putting more temperature in the tyres than the others. We know we need to work on that area. We've got plans to do that, but that's not the sort of problem you can fix with a single aero update. It will be the result of quite a few developments to try and get on top of it. Mercedes' ongoing challenges with tyre temperature have raised concerns that the W15 might be generating less downforce, leading to more rear sliding compared to rivals McLaren and Red Bull. However, their strong performance in Spa seems to disprove this idea. Shovlin added that, if you looked at Silverstone in terms of how much downforce our car has got, it can't be very different to the McLaren or the Red Bull because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to gently pull away in the first stint. So we don't think that is the root cause of the issue. If you look at where people are running their cars now, they're all converging on a pretty narrow window in terms of what drag level you target, and inherently what downforce you get from that. So I think we're there or thereabouts in that regard. Obviously, that's one of the key areas of development that will continue to keep giving. But it is an issue of just rear tyre temperature, and that's where a lot of our focus is. In the last 3 Grands Prix before the summer break, Lewis Hamilton secured 2 wins and a third-place finish. The Mercedes he's driving has gradually become competitive with Red Bull Racing, and McLaren is also within reach. Although Ferrari, the team Hamilton will join next season, is currently behind Mercedes, Jacques Villeneuve is confident that Hamilton will achieve great things with the Scuderia. Villeneuve, a world champion himself, believes Hamilton will have the chance to achieve his big dream, an 8th world title, at Ferrari. The Canadian shared this insight with Instant Casino. Lewis Hamilton can definitely win a championship at Ferrari. That team might have the last step that he's missing at Mercedes to win him another title. Villeneuve suggests that for Hamilton to achieve this, he'll need to consistently perform at a high level throughout the year. If he can do that, he could become a strong competitor against his main rival, Max Verstappen. At Ferrari, he will have the potential to drive how Max Verstappen does now, and it might boost his mental focus throughout a season as it's a fresh challenge. It would cement his place in history. Villeneuve believes Hamilton won't regret his move to Ferrari, even with Mercedes' resurgence. He pointed out that it seems Hamilton was not part of Mercedes' long-term plans, according to the Canadian. Both sides were waiting for an excuse to go their separate ways without it being a fight. But given Hamilton's old age, how long can Ferrari extract championship-level performances out of him? At 39, the racing legend has expressed his worries about the future of his racing career, acknowledging the uncertainties and challenges of competing at the highest level. In a chat with Esquire, Hamilton shared a blend of resilience and apprehension about what lies ahead, highlighting the intense demands of the F1 schedule, which provides very little downtime compared to other sports. I definitely do. There are days I'm like, shoot, I don't know how much longer I can go. There are days I'm like, shoot, I'd love a break, a proper break, because you don't get a real big break in the season like other sports. You don't finish until mid to late December, and then you're back into training already in January. This grueling routine includes twice daily training sessions and extra hours spent on therapy, leaving scant opportunity for rest. Despite this, Hamilton isn't ready to call it quits on his remarkable career just yet. He plans to keep racing well into my 40s, and with a move to Ferrari from Mercedes set for next year, his F1 journey is far from finished. I do have mentally a plan of where I would like to extend to. I've just got to strategize and sequence things. I'm very much about sequencing, like looking at brands that I collaborate with, companies that I'm essentially starting, how I manage my time between all those, and how I'm able to dedicate myself to this job still. There are so many people that have finished their careers early, and I've spoken to many who've said they wish they could have just done one more year or two, and they're like, stay in as long as you can. But I don't want to do it if I'm not good. With that being said, will we get an early retirement from Lewis Hamilton if Ferrari fails to meet his expectations? Tell us what you think in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.